Hey group, just thought it was due time. I got a little time before I head to the gym. Gonna meet Lance there and do some chest, shoulders, triceps, and maybe we'll film a little bit of that. But the training frequency, you know, I, a lot of people get really confused about training frequency, and it's not as complicated. Like people overthink it and um, think that, for example, rest days are 100% necessary, or a certain amount of rest days per week, or training a muscle so many times per week, or doing so this or that or whatever. Wherever we're at in our training, um, the sets and reps, a lot of people come up with programs just so the general public that doesn't know what they're doing can follow something and get some results. That's what Dr. J has done really well originally with the original program, and then the hypertrophy program. He put a lot of work just to put the standard basics that you need to pay attention to and just stick to it. And if somebody who's fairly new to working out just stuck to that shit and ate a better diet, they were going to see results, right? But we all are in different places, and some of us are looking to get very high end degree level. You'll see my buddy Johan right now. I'm flying to Sweden, and we're gonna film a video of him training for his first show, and we're gonna do some very extreme X3 stuff. And I'm talking to him right now. He's been doing everything once a week. We're gonna do twice a week. Now that kicks it off with um, a muscle starts to atrophy within 48 to 72 hours after you train it. Now, then a lot of people will ask, well, how come, you don't shrink? Well, if you trained right, you put on more muscle than you lose by the next time you train. And when you first start training, your hormonal response is a lot greater, but eventually that really stagnates. And if you're not taking anabolics to mitigate the muscle atrophy, because that's what they were originally intended for, was wasting diseases. And then a lot of guys get up to like 300 pounds of muscle. They need more recovery time because of the amount of muscle they're carrying. But till then, I would train everything at least twice a week, because after that 72-hour mark, you're starting to go downhill, and there's no reason to, unless you way overdid it, unless your volume was just ridiculous. But if your volume isn't out of hand and you're recovered, hit it, right? So twice a week, but then again, you can train a muscle every single damn day. If it depends on the volume. Emmerich and I have shown, especially when taking Humanofort, because your recovery ability is up so high, we can train muscles like twice a day. And I've done it where I've done like the three-way split, and I do morning and night workouts of the same muscle. And other guys have tried it. A muscle can recover in as little as 6 hours, depending on how much work you put it through. Let's say you warm it up and do one all-out work set, okay? And then through the day you have a couple nice meals with some high protein in it, and some fats, and just have enough carbs to replenish some glycogen stores. Maybe take a 30-minute nap, and 8 or 9 hours later you go train that same muscle. You will actually a lot of times get another rep or a little more load than you did in the first workout. Now, instead of doing a few sets once in that day, you did those amount of sets that are at a much higher degree of effectiveness, because you were rested when you did them. You weren't just wearing yourself down. And you spike protein synthesis, and then you spike it again, right? So now we give that muscle a few days to grow, and we focus on something else, do the same thing. If we start now, sometimes we start really lagging. Like I got a lot of body issues coming out, my spine and my neck and everything. And sometimes when that shit really starts coming out and releasing toxins and things like that, I actually get deathly sick and will be put down for a day or two. And I just have to ride that out. And then once I start feeling better, I go at her again. But if I didn't have that going on, even on my days off, I do light work, because to stop a muscle from atrophying, even let's say you are training everything once a week. Okay, you want to just do a really high volume once a week. You do legs one day, back, whatever. But through the week, let's say you work out in the morning and you did legs. You're not going to do arms till Friday. Okay, just do one set of bis and tris that night. And then the next day you do like chest, shoulders, triceps. Let's say you do that, or you do chest. Okay, you indirectly hit the triceps a little bit, but you did chest day. Okay, and later that night just do one set of lateral raises and one set of bicep curls. And the next day is back day. You really blast that back. Biceps are indirectly worked. Rear delts are indirectly worked. That night you just do one set of lateral raises and one set of bench dips for your triceps. That set to failure is stopping any atrophy from happening, right? And it's building up volume. Then shoulder day. You really train the shoulders, and the triceps are involved in that. So you don't hit the triceps. You just, let's say, do some body weight squats. Get your heels elevated, do a few sets of 50 rep body weight squats, and do a set of push-ups. You're gonna mitigate any atrophy going on there. Then it's arm day. So we blast arm day, it's good, whatever. Then that night, maybe, you think about it and you're like, well, my shoulders, my arm, back, whatever. Do a few sets of the body weight squats again, do some calves, whatever. Even then you take a couple days off. Randomly through the day, if you feel like it, do a pump set in something. Pump up your delts quick. Just do lightweight. Just do light bands or lightweight. Just, pump them up. That sort of stuff. Like, you can work these avenues. There's not anything just written in stone. But if you're training everything like, say, twice a week, you're more so covering all your bases. And then I like a 3 on 1 off split, or do 3 on and then 3 on and 1 off, that sort of thing. But like we have lagging muscle groups. Rather than beating the crap out of them when it's time to train them, do your normal workout. And then the other days, just do one set of that muscle till failure with a moderate load, really nice and slow, and really squeeze the shit out of it, and pump some fresh blood and hormones into it, and lower the myostatin in it every day. Stuff like that. Your workouts don't have to be 10 sets. They don't have to be. Eventually, if you're doing volume style training solely, yes, you're going to have to go up in volume. It's just the way it works. But frequency and intensity can be just as effective. And if you're looking for strength, that's the ultimate more way to go. Everybody's seen that. I've implemented rest pause training in myosets because, John had brought it up, and I thought, I've done the shit out of that stuff. I did that, for a couple of years, and I worked with one of the head guys at the time that, really advocated that, and that's where I come up. What we call the Widowmakers and the myosets and the rest pause setting and stuff like that. And I just do a little bit of volume work beforehand, just light stuff to get a pump, and don't really wear myself out, because that all-out set to failure at the end, where I rest pause and I do a set of 20, and then take 15 breaths and do a set of 8, and take 15 breaths and do a set of 6, and 15 breaths and do a set of 5, and 15 breaths and do a set of 3, and then do partials. When I'm done with that, I'm done. Then you stretch the muscle. And then stretching is really key. People have so underestimated the importance of stretching, not only for building muscle, but stretching not only has been shown for hyperplasia if done properly. It's got to be very aggressive for hyperplasia. It's also been shown, because it has been shown to even cause hypertrophy, and there's multiple studies on these things. The one with calves is really interesting. I guess, calves seem to really respond to stretching, and they're really hard to get blood into, and you want to do really high reps with them. They're like a cross between the heart muscle and a skeletal muscle almost. Because we walk around on them all day. They're made to not get a pump easily. And stretching them, doing like 3-minute stretches on them, and really pumping those suckers full of blood, doing like 100-rep mile sets and stuff like that. I've seen some guys really transform some calves where with other muscles that wouldn't have been so. And calves can be worked more frequently. You could do a set of 100 damn near every day. And if you feel like you're lagging behind, just take one day off and jump back into it. It's that easy. But depending on my client and where they're at and things like that, and their whatever their goals are and stuff like that, we just kind of mix it up. But right now I'm working on a training program for Johan, because I'm going to have him start hitting everything twice a week, but it's going to be fast and furious workouts. He's worried about time. Poor guy's got 6 kids and all that, and the clients, but his workouts are actually going to be shorter. They're going to be very intense, and then a very intense stretch, and then recover. Okay, and that's what we're gonna do. He's got potential to put on another at least 5 pounds of muscle before his show, solid lean weight, 6 pounds even, and then I want to get his body fat so fucking low that it's transparent and he has the striated butt cheeks, the whole 9 yards, and nobody's gonna be able to do anything but give him a trophy. So, any other questions on, frequency? Hit me up. A lot of guys get really confused on that stuff, and like, I laughed, when I first was appointed a coach in the X3 group. I was doing everything once a day, like every muscle one set once a day, and people were like, dead set, you can't train a muscle every day. And then I tagged my buddy Emmerich in it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. There was a time I trained one set every day of a muscle, and just randomly when I felt like, because I was working, I didn't get enough sleep or whatever, it wasn't beneficial to work out one day, I would just randomly take a day off. But then 5 to 6 days a week, I was training a muscle every single day. And I grew well, and I got really strong really fast. So, and it was fun, because I'd just go in and do one set of this, one set of this, and one set of this, and one set of this. I just had to make sure I was warmed up a bit. Once you warm, like you start with the shoulders, and then, go into other stuff, pretty soon your whole body's warm. And then every day when you're training, if a muscle doesn't work for a few days, it gets stiff and shit like that. When you're training a muscle every day, that stiffness just doesn't seem to be an issue. And as long as you're not being stupid and lifting heavy weights and straining yourself, one of the best ways of training every day, I get so many bad telemarketer calls. Training every day is with the X3, for example, because with the resistance bands, we don't have the micro tearing that we need to recover from. Okay, so like with weights, I would have to keep my reps in the 20 to 30 range, and do real perfect sets, or else if I went real heavy, did some micro tearing and whatnot, you need an extra day of recovery just for that crap before you can totally recover. So it's what I really like about the X3 is you can hit a muscle every day, and a lot of my clients have tried it. We just do arms every day, do set arms every day, overhead one day, extensions the next, like a standard curl one day and a body drag the next, or whatever, just one set to failure, and you go up a rep a day. Well, if you can't do that, how come you're going up a rep every single day? And it works. So Um, with that said, I gotta call some people and get my ass ready to go meet Lance. We're gonna do a hell of a chest workout today. Start with the X3, and then go into some body weight stuff, and then some shoulders. We're gonna do rest pause shoulder presses, and then some lateral raises, and then maybe some rear delts if needed. Lance's rear delts are really behind, and then some triceps. Okay, and then on to some pretty aggressive stretching. You know, since we're at the gym, I have some dip stations and dumbbells and stuff like that, so I do really good myo sets, like myo stretching while I'm there. But at home, if anybody needs advice, get a hold of me. Whether it's for coaching or you want a consult, you can hire me by the hour. We can consult and come up with a program for you and see what you got around the house, and